Okay, I'm excited. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was not expecting on making any more Yasuke videos, but it seems the they found me. People found me. I was not expecting it at all. So here's my video, and like my analytics for this video are better than I've ever achieved on any video I've made in general. In 3 days, 840 views. That's pretty good for me. That's pretty good for me. Okay, I'm proud of that. That's nice, but really proud of 40 comments. In this, I'm going to engage all the comments, or at least most of them. I might not go through all 40. I don't know. I don't read well fast or anything like that, so it might be slow roast, and I might even I might say the wrong thing. I might say something that wasn't actually said. I might read it wrong, and for that I apologize. But we're gonna try to do everything as awesome as we can. So the most unforgivable sin is that they are charging $129.99 for the full game. Ubisoft is a joke. This is a whole other. I'll make a video regarding the business model and practices of video game industries. I'll make a whole thing dedicated to that, because that's a whole talking point that I would love to get more into. I'm excited about that. I'm assuming these things are referring to me. I assume like all these things refer to me in some way, shape, or form. Like I assume they're directing things at me. Ask yourself if there was an Assassin's Creed game based in Africa, say based around the kingdom of Axum. I don't know anything about the kingdom of Axum. So anyway, we'll get into the weeds of Axum later. So let's see. Ask yourself, a kingdom of Axum. But the protagonist is a Japanese man rather than someone of African descent. If you're bothered by that, then you should be bothered by this. Okay. But the protagonist is a Japanese man rather than someone of African descent. I guess in the context in the context of like Yasuke, because that's what I feel like. That's what this is. It's the Yasuke is taking up one of the roles of one of the like typical historical figures of the period. There will be other historical figures in the series, but he's going to also be a co-protagonist, right? He's not filling in the role of like Ezio, Alexios, Cassandra, who else? Altair, Connor. Like, he's not filling that role. That's what Naoe is filling, right? She's the Japanese shinobi. Like, she's all the bells and whistles. She even has the hidden blade. It even has the unique gimmick of being able to be like kind of adjusted into a dagger, maybe, or like just maybe there's like I am really curious about like the significance of her hidden blade, because like it allows for more slashing of like throats, I guess, ideally, is like the idea. But like I don't understand the significant like of what that would. There has to be more than just that, because like you could just do the regular hidden blade kill stuff. Like it does, maybe it unlocks like new like animation finisher assassination scenes, but like I am more interested in that. But in this situation, you're leaving out a lot of context of like the historical significance. If let's say it is an Assassin's Creed game, and one of the protagonists you could play as is a Japanese man in the kingdom of Axum, right? They're not African descent at all, but they were a real person that was really there, that had existed. and you decide to follow that narrative, the narrative of their existence, and play with it, right? I have no problem whatsoever of that existing. I don't think we should have any problem of any story existing. You asked me to ask myself this, right? So I will ask you this question. Does that mean, by your standard, if any, like, this should never exist in any context? There should never be a historical fantasy of the story of Yasuke? Really? Whoever this protagonist, this Japanese man that, let's say, existed in the kingdom of Aksum, right? His story should never be allowed to be told in a historical fiction? Why? What's wrong with that? This doesn't bother me. Why can't stories be told? To me, that's crazy. And then let's continue the comment. Also, hiding in plain sight only works if that person blends in. If you have someone going around killing people left and right, they are going to suspect an outsider first and foremost. Yasuke would stand out like a sore thumb in this sort of story. If they wanted to include Yasuke as a side character, no one would have an issue with that whatsoever. That is exactly what is currently going on. Because clearly, the more protagonist route, the more connected to, more than likely, the Assassin Order would be Naoe, not Yasuke. Clearly, Yasuke is the more secondary character in this instance because of the fact that he's the historical character. In other games, we have like Blackbeard with Black Flag, right? He was a secondary character. I would have loved being able to play as Blackbeard. You can only play as him if you buy like his like skin for the deal for like the PvP stuff. But like it would have been really cool. Oh my god, I love the scene where you're actually getting to sail Queen's Anne Revenge. Loved it. Fat and slow, but it had so many guns. Absolutely fantastic. I wouldn't have a problem with that. To me, the exact same thing is happening here, but you've placed more of a significance on Yasuke. I don't know, because you've decided to. You've decided to we get an opportunity to play as a historical character. We've never really been able to do that. We've never really been able to do that to with the main character. This is a cool, fun little twist opportunity. I absolutely condone this. And then yeah, you're right. He would be more noticeable. But Naoe wouldn't. I about guarantee it. She would do very well at hiding in plain sight. In that world, how many people are going to really suspect her? Heck, you can't even suspect her in the aspect of her being a protagonist. Most people aren't even talking about her. They're only talking about Yasuke. She's already hiding in plain sight. She's doing a great job. All right, next comment. All right, it makes more sense if for there to be a Japanese shinobi as the main character. There could have been a Kunoichi or Yasuke as a side character, like they did with the other games. I mean, she is a Japanese shinobi. She's just not male. That is the only difference. She is also probably technically a Kunoichi, because like I actually, during all my research regarding this, Kunoichi would be more like to anyone that like played my bad to anyone that played the Rise of the Ronin game, there is a character named Taka. She is more of what Kunoichi were. The ninja clans would often work alongside them. What she ends up being in terms of the story, in terms of the game, and stuff like that. She could potentially be that as well. There is an option to that. clearly people really wanted the protagonist from this to be a Japanese male shinobi. That seems to be more of like the thing that is upsetting people regarding Naoe. And then they had a reply. Agreed. Like Yasuke, could have simply been a character to you run into. Making him a main is dumb. Ubisoft knows that people want to play as a man from Japan in Japan. Also, the two main character stuff is also bad. AC fans didn't like it in Syndicate, so why do it again? Oh, they didn't? I had no idea. I actually don't know anything about like the fan feedback or thing with Syndicate. I just thought it was a cool premise because the twins. All right, this is my thing. There's no actual historical account that Yasuke was actually awarded the title of samurai. Nobunaga died like a year or so after meeting Yasuke. There is a record of Yasuke being a bushi, but he is not significant person in Japanese history. This is being done for an agenda called identity politics. Let's be realistic. This isn't an attempt to just tell a story. But at what point would they be allowed to tell the story without it being identity politics of a samurai? And based on the search results, there were no significant title given to become a samurai. Rather, being a samurai referred to one's status as a member of the hereditary military nobility and officer caste that served as retainers to the powerful daimyo or feudal lords in medieval and early modern Japan. So, to me, this whole beginning comment is clearly based off of your personal interpretation or understanding of what a samurai is. And I, like, based on my understanding, you're wrong. That's my instance of that. Ah, right. We had to get one of these. But shifting the goalie to satisfy your narrative. If you're talking to me, you shouldn't be talking to me. I was like, if you're talking to me, you didn't understand anything that said. And you know what? That's fair. I kind of go on tirades and I rant, and my thoughts are a little bit all over the place. So that's kind of fair that you might not really be understanding anything that I said. So that's fair. But you shouldn't have come to this conclusion at any point with what I said and what I'm talking about in this, as my title explains. Like, my narrative, this is the narrative that I'm pushing. My narrative is I heard about the Assassin's Creed cancel culture war thing that's going on, whatever. I heard about it. I looked into it. And I find it dumb, and it doesn't bother me. That's my narrative. What goalpost would there be for that kind of narrative? It doesn't bother me that deep. I'm not butthurt over the idea of Yasuke being a character, a story that being told from his perspective. It would have been told from his perspective in some sort of sense, regardless of whether or not you were able to play it, if he was going to be incorporated as a character. People say that they don't have a problem with him being a character, but like all of a sudden they do when you're actually able to control the character. That's weird to me. But yeah, if you came to that conclusion, then clearly I have no idea what sort of goal there would have been for me to push. What do you think I'm doing? I love to know. I am clueless.